One of the most common questions I get asked on my social medias is what is in my belt bag that I carry with me around to racetracks all over the world, whether it's Formula One, IMSA WeatherTech, 24 Hours of Le Mans, Formula E, NASCAR, MotoGP. I'm pretty much covering and carrying the same stuff around my waist at all times. So let's kind of walk through what's in my waist belt.
This video is brought to you by Paddock Focus Photography Workshops. Want to learn how to become a professional motorsport photographer or simply improve your racing images? Check out paddockfocus.teachable.com and use the code PFYouTube for 10% off.
If you do not know who I am, my name is Jamie Price. I'm a professional motorsport photographer, so yeah, I travel all over the world taking pictures of race cars. And I've learned, not the hard way, but just through experience, that this is a hard job. I'm walking 8, 10, 12, sometimes 15 miles a day. That's not a weekend, per day. Sometimes some weekends I'm walking 35, 40. I think the most I've ever done was 50 miles, more or less. And that's, again, not just me in my tennis shoes or hiking boots walking around. I'm walking around with 20, 30 pounds of camera gear on my shoulders. And I have learned the hard way, and anybody that's ever been on a hike, a longer endurance hike, not just like a mile or two stroll through the woods, that you want to have all the weight that you're carrying, you want to have that on not your shoulders. You don't want it sitting on your shoulders or your back or your neck. You want it sitting on your waist. So your waist is what really carries the best load, which is why hiking backpacks have those big, soft belt clips that go around your waist right here, so that you can carry that load. Even if you're carrying 100 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever it is, military rucksacks, they're not just carrying it on their back. They're carrying it around their waist, and the waist is kind of holding up what's on your back. Like almost with your back, you can probably put air between your fingers and the shoulder pads because it's really not carrying that much weight. So the more weight you have on the shoulders, the harder you are on your body. So I've learned the hard way, and just through experience and doing this for a very long time, that having a waist belt is a way better way of carrying the things that I need to carry. So let's talk about what's in my bag. So for starters, let's talk about the main pouch bag. This is what we call, as Americans, a fanny pack. I know it's a ridiculous name for anybody else in the world, but we call this a fanny pack. And this is something I got at REI, which is kind of an outdoor co-op store where you can get hiking boots and backpacks and rain gear. And it's basically, if you like being in the outdoors and you're going in the outdoors a lot, that's where you kind of go and buy stuff. They have really good prices on things. I've actually used Walmart brand pouches before. Anything that kind of works and has a belt clip that I can tighten and loosen pretty easily will work. I chose the color black because it doesn't get too dirty. It's been pretty durable. I do have a pretty good rip right here. Might be time for a new one, but yeah, it actually does a pretty good job. I actually also have on it this little lens cloth cleaner that's a clip-on that's clipped to the actual front of my fanny pack here. This one was given to me by Lexar Memory, which is the memory card brand that I'm sponsored by, so I'm very, very thankful for their support. But they gave me this little lens cloth cleaner so you can rub your front of your lenses if they get dirty, or just for whatever reason. There's lots of different ways I use it. I'll clean my phone screen, I'll clean camera lenses. You can wipe champagne off if you get sprayed with champagne. It's just kind of a handy thing to have. They're really easy to find. They're pretty cheap. This was just a little gift from Lexar. All right, so moving around to what's actually in my belt bag is I've got filters. I carry around a couple of filters. This is a star filter. I'm in Abu Dhabi right now, so tonight for the Grand Prix, we'll be racing under the lights. So a star filter is kind of a fun thing to have to make the lights look kind of twinkly. They literally give them like bolts of star light coming off of it. It's kind of a fun look. But yeah, it's like I'll carry filters with me. I'll carry a filter for my 400 millimeter. I carry a couple different sizes for my other lenses. But the other important thing that I have in my belt pouch, the fanny pack, is batteries. I need batteries because these mirrorless cameras really chew through batteries, especially at Formula One races like this, where you are really going through memory cards and batteries because we're live sending our pictures. Live sending pictures is a huge, huge burden on the camera battery because it's constantly looking and using the Wi-Fi network that we have. So I have one battery in each camera already, and then I'll carry a second battery for each camera, and that'll absolutely get me through the day. Like even endurance races, I won't use that much battery. And especially when I go back to the media center, I'll throw a fresh battery on the memory, on the charger. So I never have to worry about running out of battery. I have 5 batteries that I use, one in each camera, and then I'll have 2 with me, and then one's back in the media center charging. The other important thing, obviously, is memory cards. You got a memory card wallet. Actually, I have learned this the hard way. This particular fanny pouch has a kind of a fun string thing that clips to it. So if I have my pouch open, my fanny pack open, and I forget that it's open, and I'm walking around, I have had stuff fall out before. This can't now fall out. It'll literally just hang on a string, and it'll just still be attached to me. But it's definitely a useful thing to have extra memory cards. Again, big shout out to Lexar Memory for supporting me for all these years. What else we got in here? Oh, this is a good one. Sunscreen, gotta have sunscreen. I work outside all day long. Like I'm in the sun, I'm in the, in the brutal conditions. Some of these races are so hot. I'm sitting in the shade under a palm tree right now, so it's really nice. But oftentimes, I'm literally just standing out in the sun, and I don't want to look like I'm 65 years old when I'm only 40. So, yeah, sunscreen is important. This is 50 SPF, so it definitely does the job. But taking care of your skin is an important thing. Yes, here's an important one. This is actually also clipped to my pouch. It has a little clip. We got some earplugs. So these earplugs are actually kind of interesting because a lot of times people in my videos are like, oh my gosh, you're around loud race cars, you're not wearing earplugs. No, actually, I am wearing earplugs. These are custom molded for my ears. So I can stick it in my ear, and I'll obviously put the other one in too. I can stick it in my ear, and you can't see, unless you're really looking side on or really deep in my ear, you can't see that I'm wearing earplugs, but earplugs are definitely important. I love loud race cars. I need loud race cars. I hate that racing and motorsport is going to much quieter engines. I hate it. I want to feel the cars. I want to feel the energy. I want to feel all of that sound and just the rumble and thunder of the cars going around. I want to feel them go past me. I love it. I truly love it. It's what made me fall in love with Formula One. It's what made me fall in love with racing, is the sound of the cars. But I don't want to go deaf, and you can still enjoy the sound of the cars. You can still feel it. Like, sound is vibrations, and you can still feel it. So everybody's like, oh, well, if you put earplugs in, it's not the same thing. You might as well just make the cars quieter. No, I can still feel it. I can still feel it through my spine and through my feet as the cars go by. If you've ever been to a race, you know what I'm talking about. So earplugs are definitely an important thing. I actually have a second set of earplugs that I have with me that lives on a lanyard right here. So if I ever forget or for some reason lose my earplugs, I'm not going to go deaf. Thankfully, Formula One cars aren't that loud, so you don't really need earplugs out here these days. But yeah, I do always have them with me. The other thing that I have in my pouch, and again, I'm pulling out a lot of stuff, so that shows you kind of how big this pouch is. It's not even that big, but it shows you a little bit of how big it is I have a teleconverter. Now this is a 1.4 teleconverter, which means it multiplies whatever lens you're shooting on by 1.4. So my 400 would become a 560 millimeter with this on. Now if I put my 560 millimeter built-in teleconverter that's on that 400 lens with this on it, so I don't have to do anything. I just basically attach this to the lens and attach this to the camera, and basically it connects all together. I now have a 700 millimeter lens, and you're like, 700 millimeters? You definitely would never use that. And you would be wrong, because there's a lot of tracks out here that we really, really, truly do use 700 millimeters. I'll go to a spot and I'll be shooting 400 or 560 millimeter, which is just the native range that I have on the camera on lens without doing any cropping, without having an additional teleconverter on. And I'm still cropping in the pictures a little bit at the end of the day. I'm not doing the art of cropping where, the camera then makes it look like this with, like that. That's the art of cropping is stupid. I hate that trend. But just get longer lenses, use telephoto lenses to make your subject seem closer, or get closer if you can get closer. But teleconverters are a great thing to have. This is the mirrorless teleconverter 1.4. They do make a 2X. I have used the 2X previously in my career, but you kind of start losing a little bit of the quality. I love the 1.4. It's a great teleconverter. I'll put it on my 70 to 200 to get a little bit more reach. I don't even know what 70 times 1.4 is, but you know, what is it, 140 millimeter-ish? It just helps to get a little bit more reach for your pictures. What else we got in here? Oh, this is an important one. So this is a little tool that tightens my my monopod. So if you've ever used one of those monopods, not the twisty ones that go, you twist it like this, where it kind of makes the monopod go up and down by twisting it like some of the tripods are. Mine's a clip. So you unclip it, and then you can make it go up and down. But sometimes the nuts and bolts that hold the monopod together and make it tight or not tight will start to get loose. So I'll be sitting there panning, and I'll literally start like lowering, and you can feel it lowering because you're putting a little bit of pressure with your hand on top of the lens or on top of the camera, and you're just kind of leaning on it a little bit, and it'll just start dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And you're like, ah. So I carry this around with me, and you can just quickly tighten it up, and it's a great thing to have. I do carry business cards. I've been asked for business cards. You know, I'll carry a little pouch of business cards around with me. You know, I've got my business cards here in a little pouch that, like a little Ziploc bag in case it rains. I also have 2 lens wipes, but these are probably old. They probably need to be thrown out because they're probably dry AF at this point. Last but not least, in the main pouch here, I have a poncho, because you never know when it's going to start raining. It's not going to start raining out here in Abu Dhabi, but you never know when it's going to start raining. I have been caught out in some absolutely torrential downpours, and I'm okay getting wet. I don't mind getting wet. I can always dry my clothes. But what you can't do is just sit out in the rain with a 400 millimeter. You don't want to jump in the shower with a 400 millimeter lens. You need to make sure that it's protected and that you're not going to have a lens break because you're just standing in torrential rain. So I have a trash bag or a poncho, something that'll keep the lens dry, and if I have enough of them, then I'll throw it on me too. But again, I don't mind getting wet.
Over the past year, I've used these cheap but fun little NASCAR film cameras to document some of the races I've been to. Now I've turned those photos into a 256-page hardcover book. There are 2 versions to order. One is a regular ship-to-your-door version that will deliver anywhere in the world, or if you're in the United States, you can order the signed and numbered limited edition version of the book. It will make a great gift to yourself or your racing-addicted friends and family.
So that kind of covers the main pouch area. That kind of all goes in there. Now, talking about the actual side pouches, these are made by Think Tank. They kind of have these little rubbery side pockets. They're kind of loose, not loose, but elastic fabric. So I can kind of put some stuff in those. I have 4 of them. So I have 4 of these Think Tank lens pouches. They're all pretty much the same size, but I'll kind of talk you through what I carry in each. Now, when I'm trackside, again, go watch the previous video I made where I talk about the lenses that I carry with me, but I'll carry with me usually 4 lenses, sometimes 5 if I can fit it. I'll have 1 lens on each camera. I have 2 cameras, 1 lens on each camera, and then I'll have 2 or maybe 3 lenses in my Think Tank lens pouch pocket. So to start off with, I've got a 35 millimeter f1.4, which is, it's not a wide angle lens, but it's nice for the paddock. It's nice for pit lane. It's kind of just, it's a good panning lens out here trackside. You can do some wider pans because racetracks are big, race cars are small. A 70 to 200 sometimes is a little bit too tight. So a 35 gives you a little bit more landscape and scene to the pictures when you're doing panning or getting the cars coming past you. There's a lot of times that I'll use the 35 millimeter. The other one that I use quite frequently, especially on pit lane, especially in the paddock, is a 20 millimeter. Sometimes I'll carry a 14 to 24 millimeter. Depends on the race. I don't always bring it with me. I didn't bring my 14 to 24 this weekend. I only brought the 20 millimeter, which is, again, the 35 and the 20 are fixed at that focal length. I can't zoom, so the only zooming I can do is walking toward my subject. This is an f1.8. The other one that I'm using is the 35 is an f1.4, so it's a little bit, gets you a little bit more depth of field. But the 20 millimeter is a great lens. I've really enjoyed using it. Let's see, the other camera I actually carry is the NASCAR film cameras that you might have seen me playing with. I have a book out, so if you want to go get my book, all the pictures in the book are from these stupid little cameras. So I carry that with me. I might carry an extra roll of film with me. Depends on what race I'm shooting. Another important bit, water. Having water and being hydrated is really important. Sometimes for endurance races, when I'm out trackside for a really long time, I will have a little granola bar or something in my pouch with me that I have on my waist at all times. So I've got my sunscreen, I've got batteries, I've got memory cards, I've got water, and if I need a snack, because quite often I am literally working through lunch or dinner or breakfast or whatever it is. I'm not gonna stop, I'm not gonna have time to eat, so I'll have a little granola bar, but I don't need it for these Formula One races, so I don't have one on me right now. But water is definitely an important one. You need to be hydrated out here. It is really, really hard work. Last but not least, I have the little Wi-Fi hotspot, so I can do what I was telling you about in previous videos where we live send our pictures from our camera directly, wherever I'm standing in the world, wherever I'm standing at that part of that track, I can just have this on. It literally connects to the Wi-Fi cellular network and it creates a Wi-Fi signal. So basically this is a router creating an internet signal that my phone can connect to if I need to, but definitely I use it for my cameras. My cameras are connected to it, and then I can, take a picture, send the picture that I want to send to our editor who is sitting in England, working through all the pictures from the agency guys that I work with. He's getting pictures from 5 people. So you don't want to send 200 pictures, but you can send 20, 30, 40 pictures. If a race start happens or a crash or a big pass or, big podium celebration, stuff that needs to go out immediately, that's where we will use this and send it directly to him sitting at his desk in England from wherever we are in the world, in Abu Dhabi, Monaco, Singapore, Hungary, Silverstone, Miami, Vegas, wherever it is. We can send directly from our cameras to him using these little Wi-Fi hotspots. And then, of course, I've got my phone, which actually has a schedule of events that I kind of use as my background, so I know what's coming up, what's not coming up, and I can kind of just keep track of things. Instead of having a picture of my wife or kids as the phone background, when I'm on work weekends, I'll have my schedule for the day. So kind of helps me keep track of things. But yeah, all of that then goes around my waist, and I can walk around the track very, very comfortably. I don't have to worry about, losing stuff. I don't have to worry about not having what I need. I've always got what I need with me at all times. And it's hard work being a motorsport photographer. Again, you're on your feet, you're carrying a lot of stuff on your shoulders. Even if it's not, all this gear isn't on my shoulders, it's still cameras and stuff sitting on my shoulders. I don't use the wedding photographer straps because carrying a 400 millimeter on that, no thank you. It's definitely not going to be comfortable. So I'd rather have it separately slung. I'll just have the 400 sitting over my shoulder, kind of like this. I'll just walk around with it like that. It literally has a little nodule right there that makes it nice and easy to sit on my shoulder, and I've got this foam pad that kind of makes it a little bit more comfortable, and I walk around all day long, just like this. All right, well there you have it. That's what's in my waist belt. So this is now clipped onto me. I can go walk around, I can work, I can go wherever I need to go. It's all pretty self-contained. I can get to stuff really easily. If I want to grab the film camera, I can grab it, start shooting, I can grab another lens if I need to. It all happens really, really quickly, and I don't have to worry about not having what I need. No matter where I am in the world, no matter what track I'm at, no matter what I'm shooting, doesn't matter, I've always got my waist belt. And I throw it in my bag that goes underneath the plane in the check bag, carry my camera gear in the overhead bin, and my backpack, obviously I have that with me as well. But my waist belt will travel around the world with me, and I just put it in the check bag, that goes under the plane, and it all travels nice and easily. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you like my content, you want to see more content, make sure you hit that subscribe button for all my channels, Instagram, X, Threads, TikTok, obviously YouTube, you name it. I really enjoy sharing a little bit of behind the scenes of what it's like to be a motorsport photographer. I wish I could show you the world of Formula One a lot more in depth, but we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to do any video of any Formula One content at all. Can't really show you what's in the paddock or the pit lane or trackside, but here I am sitting under a beautiful palm tree in Abu Dhabi. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.